Hi students, in this session we are going to discuss about the topic graphical and analytical proof for band limited signals. Graphical and analytical proof for band limited signals. Simply we call this as nothing but a sampling theorem. So in this class we will discuss about a sampling theorem. So this will give the graphical and analytical proof for band limited signals. Okay, so today's topic is sampling theorem. First I will give the statement and I will explain the statement of sampling theorem, and then I will go for the proofs both with the graphical and analytical. Okay, first I will start with the statement. So the statement of sampling theorem is a continuous time signal can be represented in its samples and can be recovered back if sampling frequency is greater than or equal to the twice the highest frequency component of the message signal. Okay, simple. Here in the sampling theorem, what it states, a continuous time signal can be represented into its samples. So we can convert a continuous time signal into discrete time signal, nothing but sampling. Okay, so I will convert the continuous time signal into discrete time signal. That is, a continuous time signal can be represented in its samples and can be recovered back. That is, from the samples I can get the original signal. When if sampling frequency. So I am sampling the signal, continuous time signal. That frequency is greater than or equal to the twice the highest frequency component of the message signal. That is, I have a continuous time signal. So in that message signal, we need the highest frequency component. Let us say our message signal has sine 2 omega t, sine 3 omega t plus sine 4 omega t. So this is our message signal frequency component. So here I have to take the highest frequency component. So highest frequency component, I have to consider the highest frequency component. In all this I will consider the highest frequency component. So in our signal I have sine 2 omega t, sine 3 omega t and sine 4 omega t. So in these frequency components I will consider the highest frequency component. Okay, and our sampling frequency should be equal to or greater than the twice of the highest frequency component. So in the message signal I have to first select the highest frequency component and I have to consider the twice of that highest frequency component. Okay, and the sampling frequency should be equal to or greater than that highest twice the highest frequency component. Then I can recover the original signal from its samples. Okay, simply if I consider the sampling frequency as Fs, and the highest frequency component of the message signal as Fm, the highest frequency component of message signal as Fm, then if Fs is greater than or equal to 2Fm, then I can recover back the original signal from its samples. So this is nothing but a sampling theorem statement. So first, here a continuous time signal can be represented in its samples. That means I can convert the continuous time signal into a discrete time signal, which is nothing but a sampling. So I will explain this graphical like this. Let us first consider the continuous time signal as this. So this is a continuous time signal. Okay, now I have to represent this continuous time signal in its samples like this. See, this is the continuous time signal. For this is the sampling signal. For this is the sampling signal. If we join the envelope of this, I will get this message signal of the input signal. Okay, now here the sampling signal is represented in its samples, and if I want to recover back the original signal, in that case the sampling frequency is greater than or equal to the twice the highest frequency component of the message signal. So in this message signal there will be a highest frequency component. So I have to go for the twice of that highest frequency component, and I have to choose the frequency of the sampling, that is sampling frequency, equal to or greater than that twice the highest frequency component of the message signal. Then I can recover back the original signal from the sample one. So from the sample one, if I want to recover the original signal, the sampling frequency with which I am sampling, that sampling frequency must and should be greater than or equal to the twice of the highest frequency of the message signal. So that can be written as Fs is greater than or equal to Fm. So this is nothing but sampling theorem statement. Now we will go for the proof. Now we will go for the proof of this one. First, consider a continuous time signal x of t. So I am considering a continuous time signal x of t like this. Okay. The spectrum of x of t is band limited to Fm. The spectrum of x of t is band limited. So if I go for the spectrum, that is the frequency spectrum of this, that will be band limited to Fm. Okay, band limited to the frequency Fm. That is the maximum is Fm and the units are Hz. Simply the spectrum of x of t is 0. Band limited means it will allow the frequencies only up to Fm. That is the spectrum of x of t is 0 for mod omega greater than omega m. Mod omega greater than omega m. That is the spectrum of x of t is 0 for values of omega greater than omega m and less than minus omega m. That is, see, this is the spectrum of x of t. So see the spectrum of x of t. Here the spectrum is 0 for greater than omega m and less than minus omega m. So we have the spectrum only between minus omega m to plus omega m. Outside of this, the spectrum of x of t, that is x of omega, is 0. Outside of this, greater than this and less than, outside of this, the spectrum is 0. So we have the spectrum is limited to minus omega m to plus omega m. Hence, here I am considering the signal as band limited. Okay. For that reason, this is the graphical and analytical proof for band limited signals. So here I am considering band limited signals. Here the signal is band limited to a frequency Fm. So if I consider angular frequency, it is omega m. Okay, simply omega m equal to 2 pi Fm. So if I want to write in frequency, then we have to write Fm Hz. Otherwise, you can write in omega m. So the spectrum is in omega. So the spectrum of x of t is 0 for mod omega greater than 0. So this is like nothing but this one. This is the spectrum of x of t, nothing but graph of x of omega versus x of omega. See, here the spectrum x of omega is 0 outside the values of this one. So that is mod omega greater than omega m, that is 0. The spectrum is present only for the values minus omega m to plus omega m. Okay. Now, see, here we have to go for sampling. How the sampling will take place? Here, the sampling will take place by multiplying the input signal, x of t with the impulse train del of t of period ts. Here, the process of sampling takes place just by multiplying the input signal x of t, with the impulse train. See, this is the impulse train. If you want to write an impulse is only one thing. Okay, just one, that is impulse. Here the impulse, unit impulse, have the value only at del of 0. Hence I had taken an impulse train as shown in the figure, and I will multiply the input signal x of t with this impulse train, which is having period ts, and the frequency is f is 1 by ts. Okay, 1 by, that is fs. The sampling frequency fs equal to 1 by ts because the period is ts. So the sampling frequency fs equal to 1 by ts. Okay. Now I have to multiply these two, and the multiplier will produce an output, which is the sampled version of the input. Now I have to sample the input. So the sampling of the input signal can be obtained by multiplying the input signal x of t with an impulse train as shown in the figure. With an impulse train, then I get the sampled version, that is output, that is y of t. I consider the output as y of t. See, here the sample signal, takes a period of impulse. The sample signal, this is the sample signal because it's the input signal and it's an impulse train. I am multiplying these two and it will produce an output y of t, which is nothing but the sampled signal. See, here the sample signal will takes the period of impulse. So what the period that the impulse have, that will be taken by the sample signal. Simple logic. While multiplying here, the sample signal amplitude is with respect to the input signal, because the input signal amplitude at this point is like this. This is multiplied with, consider 1. So the value at here, that will be presented there. If this is multiplied with 1, I will get this value. If this is multiplied with 1, I will get this value. That is, I am multiplying the amplitude of the signal with an impulse train. So I will get the amplitudes of the sampled version with respect to the input signal. With respect to the input signal. So at this point, if I multiply it with an impulse train, I will get this. At this point, I will get this. At this point, I will get. At this point, I will get. At this point, I will get this. The same way, negative side. At this point, I will multiply this. At this point, I will multiply it with this. At this point. At this point. Okay. So if I multiply that with, I will get the values like this ones. Okay. So now I go for the process of sampling. Okay, so graphically I can explain. If I multiply this with this, okay, then I will get the sample version like this, because it will take the amplitudes of the input signal x of t. Now the process of sampling can be explained by the mathematical expression. So here I have to prove it analytically, or mathematically I have to prove. For that, the sample signal y of t will be equal to x of t into impulse train del of t. That taken y of t will be equal to x of t into impulse train del of t. Okay, impulse train del of t. So here I have to go for the Fourier series expansion of this del of t. Fourier series expansion of this del of t, and I have to prove mathematically everything. So I will go for the derivation of this and analytical proof of this one. Okay, before going to that one, see this one. This is nothing but y of omega, that is spectrum of the output signal. So we have the output signal, that is the sample version, the spectrum of the sample version. This is y of t and this is y of omega. Y of omega. See the spectrum. The spectrum will be like this. Okay. Now, to obtain this, I have to go for the mathematical procedure. So with the mathematical procedure, I can obtain the equation for this one. That is for y of omega. The shape will be like this. So because it is band limited, that is spectrum of x of t is 0 for mod omega greater than omega. That means here maximum we have only omega m, and here minus omega m. Here we have omega m and here we have minus omega m. Other than that, the value will be 0. Okay. Next, we will go for the mathematical procedure. Now we move on to the mathematical procedure for the proof of this sampling theorem. So I already told you the sample signal y of t will be equal to x of t into the impulse train del of t. Here this del of t is the impulse train. Now I will write the trigonometric Fourier series representation of that impulse del of t. Okay, I will write the trigonometric Fourier series representation of del of t, the impulse train del of t. We all know the trigonometric Fourier series representation. In that we have three constants, a naught, an and bn. With these three constants, I will write the trigonometric Fourier series representation as del of t equal to a naught plus summation n equal to 1 to infinity an cos n. Actually we have write omega naught t, but here I had taken the sampling frequency as fs, so I had write as omega s. An cos n omega st plus bn sin n omega st. So this is the Fourier series, a trigonometric Fourier series representation of the impulse train. See, for we have the train of impulses. We have to represent all those train of impulses. For that, we need the trigonometric Fourier series representation, and that will be given as del of t equal to a naught plus summation n equal to 1 to infinity an cos n omega st plus bn sin n omega st. So here we have taken omega s because we are going with respect to the sampling frequency fs. I am considering the first sample signal y of t as the equation 1, and I consider the trigonometric Fourier series representation of del of t as the equation 2. So remember these two. Now here I have to find out the constants a naught, an and bn. We have the formulas for finding the constants a naught, an and bn. Those formulas are, we know that a naught will be find out by the formula. A naught will be equal to 1 by ts, 1 by t. Actually in the formula you will write 1 by t. So here it is all with respect to the sampling frequency or sampling period. Hence we have to write 1 by ts integral minus t by 2 to t by 2. Okay, minus t by 2 limits del of t dt, and we all know this del of t exists only at t equal to 0. Only at t equal to 0. That is del of 0. Only it has the value of 1. In all the remaining cases, it is 0. So from minus t by 2 to plus t by 2, this del of t will have a value only at del of 0. Hence I written 1 by ts into del of 0. So that will be equal to, here the del of 0 is 1. So 1 by ts into 1, that is 1 by ts. Next, I will find out the value of an by using the formula. We all know the formula for an. An will be equal to 2 by ts into integral minus t by 2 to t by 2 del of t into, that is the function, del of t into cos n omega st dt. So an is 2 by ts integral t minus t by 2 to plus t by 2 limits the function del of t into, because I am finding an, so I have to write cos n omega st dt. So I will explain this del of t is having the function, the value only at t equal to 0. For all the remaining values of t, this is 0. 0 into anything is 0. So from minus t by 2 to plus t by 2, I have to consider the only value of t equal to 0. Hence, in all these values, I am considering t equal to 0. So 2 by ts into del of 0 cos n omega s. In place of t, I am substituting 0. So del of 0 is 1 and cos of anything into 0 is 0. Cos of 0. So cos 0 is 1. So n omega s into 0 is 0. Cos 0 is 1. 1 into 1. Nothing but 1. So finally we got as 2 by ts into 1. Simply 2 by ts. 2 by ts. In the same way, I can find the value of bn. So for bn, the formula is 2 by ts into integral minus t by 2 to t by 2. The function del of t sin n omega st dt. Sin n omega st dt. Okay. Because I am finding the value of bn, I have to write this one. So 2 by ts, and this is also having the value only at t equal to 0. So del of 0 sin n omega s into 0. So sin of 0 is 0. 0 into anything is 0. Simply the value is 0. Okay. Now I got the expressions for a0, an and bn. I got the three values a0, an and bn. Substitute all these a0, bn and a0, an, bn values in equation 2. Because this is the trigonometric Fourier series representation where we have a0, an and bn. So substitute the values of a0, an and bn in equation 2. So del of t will be equal to a0 is 1 by ts plus summation n equal to 1 to infinity. an value is 2 by ts cos n omega st plus bn value is 0. 0 to anything is 0. So I simply write as. Now here I got the equation of del of t, that impulse train. I got the equation for impulse train del of t. Now substitute this del of t in equation 1. In equation 1 to get the sample signal. To get the sample signal, substitute the value of this del of t in equation 1. See, so in equation 1, in place of del of t, I have to substitute 1 by ts plus summation n equal to 1 to infinity 2 by ts cos n omega st. So y of t will be equal to x of t into 1 by ts plus summation n equal to 1 to infinity 2 by ts cos n omega st. Multiply this x of t both to 1 by ts and to summation n equal to 1 to infinity this one. So multiply this x of t. So what happens? X of t by ts plus summation n equal to 1 to infinity 2 by ts cos n omega st into x of t. From that I had taken 1 by ts as common. 1 by ts as common. So finally 1 by ts into, so here I taken 1 by ts as common and multiplied x of t. Okay, bring that x of t to inside the brackets and bring this 1 by ts outside of the brackets. So 1 by ts into x of t plus 2 into summation n equal to 1 to infinity cos n omega st into x of t. So this is multiplied and taken 1 by ts as common. So finally y of t will be equal to 1 by ts x of t summation, expand the summation n equal to 1 to infinity. So first put n equal to 1 here. So what happens? 2 into cos of 1 omega st into x of t plus 2 into cos of 2 omega st into x of t plus 2 into cos of 3 omega st plus 2 into cos of 4 omega st, that is substitute n value from 1 to infinity. So the expansion will be like this. Here I have to take the Fourier transform on both sides. Why? Because I need the spectrum of the output signal. So this is the equation for output signal. I need the spectrum of output signal. For this I need the Fourier transform. So take the Fourier transforms on both sides. So Fourier transform of y of t is y of omega, and this is constant 1 by ts, and x of t, the Fourier transform is x of omega. See here, 2 cos omega st into x of t. So cos omega st. For this you can write like this. So you all know the value of e power j omega t, e power j omega t. So e power j omega t cos omega t plus j sin omega t minus e power minus j omega t. So that means minus cos omega t minus j sin omega t. Okay, simple. So this is e power j omega t minus e power minus j omega t. So if you write e power j omega t plus e power minus j omega t, then the equation is cos omega t plus j sin omega t plus cos omega t minus j sin omega t. If we add these two, what happens? Plus j sin omega t and minus j omega t will get cancelled, and we get cos omega t plus cos omega t, that is 2 cos omega t, 2 cos omega t. So 2 cos omega t will be equal to e power j omega t plus e power minus j omega t. Finally, for cos omega t I can write e power j omega t plus e power minus j omega t by 2. So I have the formula cos omega t will be equal to e power j omega t plus e power minus j omega t divided by 2. That is the formula. So here also in place of cos omega st, I will use this formula. So I can write e power j omega st plus e power minus j omega st by 2. So these two gets cancelled. Both will get cancelled. So here what I will left? I will left with e power j, in place of omega I have to write omega s because it is omega s, e power j omega st plus e power minus j omega st. So I have e power j omega st plus e power minus j omega st. So here now e power j omega st into x of t. For that I need the Fourier transform. In the same way, e power minus j omega t, that is e power minus j omega st into x of t. So for these two, that is into x of t, I need the Fourier transform. So first e power j omega st into x of t and e power minus j omega st into x of t. So for that we need the Fourier transforms. Okay, so by using the frequency shifting property, I can apply the frequency shifting property there, and I get the value as x of omega minus omega s plus x of omega plus omega s. That is for this. First I have to convert this cos into exponentials, and I have to apply the property, and I have to find out the Fourier transform. There the Fourier transform of this one is x of omega minus omega s plus x of omega plus omega s. In the same way, go for this one. In place of omega s, I have 2 omega s. So the Fourier transform is x of omega minus 2 omega s plus x of omega plus 2 omega s. If you go for the third one, that is x of omega minus 3 omega s plus x of omega plus 3 omega s. So this is so. Now compress this expansion using the summation. So y of omega will be equal to 1 by ts summation n equal to minus infinity x of omega minus n omega s, where n equal to 0 plus or minus 1 plus or minus c. Simple, if you substitute n equal to 0, then I got x of omega. N equal to 1, I will get x of omega plus omega s. X equal to minus 1, minus of minus plus x of omega plus omega s. N equal to 1, this one. N equal to minus 1, this one. N equal to 2, n equal to x of omega minus 2 omega s. N equal to minus 2, x of omega plus 2 omega s. So in the same way, substitute n equal to 3, I will get the next term. N equal to minus 3, I will get the next term. So see 0 for this one, 1 x of omega minus omega s, minus 1 x of omega plus omega s. So I compress this using the summation. Both are same. Okay. So this is the Fourier spectrum. Okay, Fourier spectrum, or simply frequency spectrum of the output signal. That is y of omega. First I got the y of t, and then I got the y of omega. That is the Fourier spectrum, or the frequency spectrum of the output signal. The equation is this one. Okay. Now, if you want to reconstruct the original signal x of t, that is the input signal spectrum x of omega, we have to recover input signal spectrum x of omega from sample signal spectrum y of omega. Here the output spectrum is y of omega. From that I have to get x of omega first from y of omega, that is sample signal spectrum y of omega. I have to get the input signal spectrum x of omega. If I apply inverse Fourier transform to this x of omega, then I can get the x of t. Simply to reconstruct x of t, first I have to recover the input signal spectrum x of omega. So here we have so many values. Take any one thing, one of these. Take x of omega or take x of omega minus, take one thing, okay, and apply the inverse Fourier transform, then easily we can get the original signal x of t. So in this, if I take the x of omega and apply the inverse Fourier transform, then I get the original signal x of t. So to reconstruct x of t, recover input signal spectrum x of omega from the sample signal spectrum y of omega. That is possible only when there is no overlapping between the cycles of y of omega. So here different cycles. For all these cycles, if there is no overlapping, then only the recovery of x of omega is possible. From that only I can get the original signal x of t. That means here the important one is there will be no overlapping between the cycles of y of omega. So in this y of omega, we have the graphical representation. In that cycles, there will not be any overlapping. Then only I will get the original signal x of t perfectly. So I will show you the three possibilities of a sample frequency spectrum with different conditions. So I am going for the possibility of sample frequency spectrum, that is output y of omega, sampled frequency spectrum with different conditions. First one, so here we have two frequencies. One is sampling frequency, that is fs, and other one is highest frequency component of the message signal, that is fm. Okay, first condition is our sampling frequency, sample frequency fs is greater than 2 fm. That is twice the highest frequency component of the message signal. Fs is greater than 2 fm. Then there is a gap between these spectrums. Okay, this is the first one, and this is the, let us consider this is omega m minus omega m. So there is some gap. Okay, hence it is nothing but oversampling. Oversampling. If the shape is like this, I can get the message signal perfectly. Okay, I can recover the complete input signal from this type of signals. So whenever the frequency fs is greater than 2 fm, then I can easily recover the original signal x of t, because there is no overlapping. There is no over, they are all separate. So I can pick this out and I will go for the inverse Fourier transform. Then I will get the original signal x of t. Okay. The second condition, fs equal to 2 fm. Fs equal to 2 fm. That is, they are perfectly matched. They are perfectly matched. So there is no gap or there is no overlapping. There is nothing. So there is perfectly gap. Okay. So this is type of sampling is nothing but perfect sampling, because these are perfectly matched. Hence it is perfect sampling. Okay. From this type of signal also I can get the original signal x of t. X of t, because there is no overlapping. Okay. But it little bit difficult when compared to this one. Here I can get the original signal easily. Here also I can get the original signal, but it's somewhat difficult. Okay, for these two cases I can get the original signal x of t, because there is no overlapping. Third one, fs is less than 2 fm. Fs is less than 2 fm. Okay, so you can write this in other way as, so you can write this as omega s greater than 2 omega m, and this one omega s less than 2 omega m, omega s equal to 2 omega m. Okay, in this way also you can represent. The third one, fs is less than 2 fm. Here there is overlapping. There is overlapping. This overlapping condition is nothing but undersampling. Undersampling. So the third one is the first one is fs is greater than 2 fm, that is oversampling. Second one is fs equal to 2 fm, that is perfect sampling. Third one is fs less than 2 fm, that is undersampling. So in undersampling there is an effect of overlapping. This is nothing but aliasing. So this overlapping condition is nothing but aliasing. There is an aliasing effect. So in undersampling, the overlapping of the spectrum will takes place. That is nothing but the aliasing. Okay. So we have to avoid this aliasing effect, because if there is overlapping, we cannot reconstruct the original signal x of t, because if you want to pick this for this spectrum, the another spectrum, a part of the another spectrum will also come. That is, there is a mismatch of the signal. There is a distortion. So I can't get the original signal x of t perfectly, because here two spectrums are overlapped. Here also there is two spectrums are overlapped. So if you want to split this spectrum outside, so along with this spectrum, some of the components of this one and this one also comes. So there is some distortion and the original signal cannot be reconstructed perfectly. And in this undersampling, this overlapping condition is nothing but aliasing, and we have to avoid this aliasing effect. So aliasing effect can be removed with the help of two cases. The first one, considering fs is greater than 2 fm. See, if the sample frequency is greater than twice the highest frequency component of the message signal, then there will be no aliasing. So, no aliasing means I can perfectly reconstruct the original signal x of t. First, so to avoid aliasing effect, that is aliasing effect can be removed by considering fs is greater than 2fm, and next one by using anti-aliasing filters. Anti-aliasing filters. So here we have to use the anti-aliasing filters. They will remove the aliasing effect, and then I can get the original signal. So these are the two ways how to avoid the aliasing effect. That is, aliasing effect can be removed by considering fs greater than 2fm or by using anti-aliasing filters. Simply, we have to band limit the signals here. We have to band limit the signals here. This is this is the explanation, complete graphical and analytical explanation of band limited signals. That is nothing but sampling theorem. So I had given the statement of the sampling theorem, and I gone for the proof. So I gone for the mathematical equations and a graphical explanation. So I gone for the graphical and analytical proofs for band limited signals. That is, I had given the statement of sampling theorem and I proved the sampling theorem. I hope you are all clear with this sampling theorem concept. Okay, so this is today's class. We will continue the next topic in next class. Okay, thank you one and all.